bonjour or bonsoir, actually, because it's pretty late, even though it's daylight here in Paris. Today, we're going to do a special monthly Q&A that I call the philosophical chat. First 10 minutes, you can ask me anything about urbanist or about travel related. And then after that, I open up the floodgates and you can ask me literally anything that you would like. Now, I'm not going to talk about really the place I'm at. If you know where I'm at, please keep it to yourself. Don't write it in the comments. I'll let everyone know where I'm located at the end so you get to know if this place is good. But today is really not about the food. It's about the chat. So feel free to ask me anything. Right now, I'm drinking a good cider. Good French cider. Wow. It tastes very fresh, actually. That is really good. And a crepe. I had a huge dinner. But I had to find a place that I could sit down, relax, that wasn't full. And I'll let you know where I'm at, but this is an area of Paris where there's a lot of stuff happening. People always go to eat at this time. 9 p.m. is peak time for eating. So a lot of places are really full. So I had to go to a place that was more empty, more calmer. So I ended up coming here to this random creperie, which I'm not sure when it closes, but let's try a good sugar crepe with some butter. That's it. It's simple. I had a very big meal. I couldn't fill up anymore. So I had to get the simplest thing in order to buy some food at this creperie. Though it is normal in Paris to just have a drink or have a coffee at most cafes or brasseries or brasseries or cafes. There's a few other different types of food establishments. There's also the bistro, but most places you can just sit down and have a drink, especially if you're outside. If you see a white tablecloth, do not sit if you just intend having a drink, because that is for food service. So let's try this crepe. Hello, Panajotes. Kalispera, Panajotes. Hope you're doing well. Good. Classic crepe. Well, yeah. Spotman says, where do I get my shirts? So I have 3 main stores I get my shirts from. I get my shirts 2 main stores. Bonobos, which is an American company that recently got bought out by Walmart, but I prefer to ignore that fact. And then the other company is Scotch and Soda, which is a clothing company from Amsterdam. It's really good. Very buttery, very sugary, very crepey. Certainly wouldn't say this is good crepe. You know when you have some good crepe? I'm not going to crepe too much on this because it's really good. But Spotman, the reason I said third initially is because I'm starting to buy clothes from other places now. So t-shirts, I'm getting a lot from Uniqlo, and I'm starting to buy nice patterned shirts from online stores such as Bronson. Bronson is the store that I end up getting a very beautiful shirt, which I'll wear soon. Darlene, nice to see you here. Hello, Texas Rose. Hello, Christoph. Would you see Roma by the end of the summer? Every day is going to be a surprise here on Urbanist. This trip, I'm going to be hopping around a lot more than I did in years prior. So you'll be seeing places all around Europe. As I mentioned, from the very iconic to the underrated, which people really don't go for tourism, but they should. And then the third will be far off places. So stay tuned. And some places, I have a schedule Thursdays to Saturdays. I'm going to do my very best to keep up that schedule so people know when I'm going live. But I can't make guarantees because there's certain places I'm covering that I'm not sure if I'm going to have cell phone reception. But crossing fingers, I do. And luckily I have the budget to find out if I have cell phone reception, meaning buying every SIM card needed. And Jimmy says, "You're too sexy for your shirt, too sexy for your shirt." Great reference to a 90s song. What's your favorite quotation, says Wendy. Ooh, that's a good one, Wendy. Oh, I'm so full. I bought food just so I can sit down and relax here, but I'm really full. Does anyone take crepes to go? Let me know. My favorite quotation, I have many, but I really love the one from The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I love saying his name, Paulo Coelho. Really, really good Brazilian name. He's one of the biggest selling authors in all of existence, and he has a quote in his book, The Alchemist, that says something along the lines of, "If you trust in the world will conspire in your favor." Meaning that have faith, because everything works out for you, ultimately. Pablo says, "Any soccer match?" That's a good one. That's a very good one. Let me know, Pablo, if I were to cover a soccer match, which would be the best country to do so? What country has the most fervent soccer matches? Not all countries in Europe are fervent about football, so let me know. Wendy says, "Great one, only having synchronicities." Yes, that quote relates to synchronicities. Again, if you know where I'm at, please keep it to yourself. Moderators, remove any comments to where I'm at. The reason I'm saying that is because I just want to chill and chat with all of you. If you know where I'm at, keep it to yourself. I'll let you know where I'm located towards the end of this video. A random woman, young woman, just lighted a flame and smiled. Does that mean something in French? Let me know. I never encountered that in the US. Smile, of course, but not lighting a flame and like just smiling. That was interesting. Susie, hey, nice to see you here. Hello, Laureen. Who came first, the chicken or the egg? You know, that is a great question. Save that for the philosophical portion. 5 more minutes. I'll give 5 more minutes. Only urbanist and travel questions. I won't be answering where I'm going next. I won't be answering what I'm covering next. I won't be giving hints as to where I'm going. I may give hints if it spontaneously comes to me, but I won't be giving hints if you ask for them. So those are the 3 things I won't answer, but you can ask me anything about urbanist and travel next 5 minutes, and then I'll answer any philosophical questions. Can you show us your watch name? Yeah, I end up getting 2 watches from Bulova. They're not sponsoring my live videos or YouTube at all. They're only sponsoring TikTok and Facebook short videos. But I'll mention them because I'm genuinely excited to work with them. So they gave me a second watch because they used to have a school for training disabled veterans how to make watches. It was a really great effort. That effort was recently revived in Delaware. So they ended up making a special watch that all the proceeds of the watch go to those disabled veterans to learn how to make watches. So I ended up getting the Hack watch. And this is the same model that the US military wore during World War II. So it was the watch that won the war. Panajote says, are you sponsored? Sponsored, I'm using the word sponsored loosely. It's more of a partnership. It's a creative partnership. They are providing the watches. They're providing some interesting stories. But I have full creative freedom in how I cover them. And the nature of the partnership isn't plugging their watch. They're basically partnering with me to cover their history. So, yeah, it's a cool partnership. It's similar to what I did with Sennheiser. They wanted something to cover more of the history rather than the product. So it's not, the videos are not going to be about the watch. It could be relevant, but it's cool that they want something more specific about the history. Wendy, feel free to ask again. If I missed your question, ask again. We have a lot of comments coming through. Updated info on Notre Dame. I'm not sure. I'll look into it. We will pass Notre Dame at some point in this trip. Order your book, says Isabel. Retrowave. How did that partnership come about? The marketing director just follows my TikTok, and he was interested. I am one of the first TikTokers they're working with. I think they have worked maybe with a few YouTubers, specifically about watches, but they haven't worked with any TikTokers or Facebookers by in the same way. Do you travel with just a carry-on? No, I took one checked baggage. The bag is too big to bring in for a carry-on, but I made sure that it weighs at 38 pounds right now. So I have about 12 pounds leeway in most airliners. And I have this backpack right here. So luckily it's now winter, but I'm traveling for 3 months and I don't want to wear the same shirts. like the same shirts like a few times a week for 3 months. So I had to bring checked baggage. Also, I probably will end up taking trains for a big chunk of my trip. So how did the sponsorship come out? The marketing director is a fan of my TikToks and just reached out. Can you get sponsorship with Tiffany? I mean, that would be awesome. I would love, I love like this kind of making videos about the history of a cool company. It seems like a really awesome way to work with a brand. Wendy says you can wash your shirts. Indeed I can. I do wash my shirts. I just don't want to wear the same type of shirt a few times a week like I did when I was going to Italy and Rome. I had to buy new shirts when I went to Italy last year. Let's see. Are you going to the country in France too? As I mentioned, I won't answer where I'm going. Stay tuned, Thursdays to Saturdays. Moderators, feel free to answer that question with that answer. Tune in Thursdays to Saturdays. Same schedule, all these 3 months. If for some reason I can't get reception, I'll tell you ahead of time. What's your advice for new vloggers with minimal equipment? Use your iPhone. That's what I'm using. iPhone. You don't even need a fancy gimbal. The gimbal is not even that expensive. But if you want to really go bare bones, you don't need a gimbal. I have a gimbal right here. This is $129. But I know this sometimes might be a little bit too much of an expense. So just use your iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, just use any phone that has a video camera. But if you want to optimize, make sure that get yourself an iPhone next time you have the opportunity for an upgrade, because iPhone is by far the best camera and they have a wide angle lens. So get the Pro version. And the reason for that is because you don't need a gimbal with a wide angle lens. It's already stable enough handheld. So go wide angle, iPhone, you're set. You can start vlogging. And of course you do selfie mode. You could do a bunch of things. Get yourself a tripod with a addition to hold the phone, a phone holder. That'll cost you maybe maximum $20 US. Most places around the world you can get for that price. And there we go. You have yourself a tripod and you have your camera and you're set. When it comes to sound, iPhone sound is good enough. From this distance, it's great. If you're doing like the style of videos I do where it's narrated behind the camera, my TikTok videos and my live videos, if you're this close to the camera, the audio is going to sound as good as a professional microphone. Once you get the budget, then you can get yourself a DJI mic, and it's very simple. I have it here, and you're done. When it comes to making content, just do the simplest thing you can first. Don't get too fancy in the beginning. Remember, there's vloggers that are huge that make very simple videos. And that's not a bad thing. It just means that they're not focusing on technical prowess, nor necessarily artistic complicatedness. They're focusing on a very simple format, and they do it well. There's some YouTubers like that. Let me know if you know a YouTuber like that. There's many like those, and they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. But of course, if you enjoy more the cinematography and maybe the complex storytelling, then yeah, you can get complex if you want to. Just make sure it's fun. Splat says, the sad truth is Apple's overpriced for the specs. You might say that. I love the camera. It's amazing. I have so many friends that try to film with Android, and generally it sucks for them. And Android just doesn't have the best quality camera, in my opinion, yet. Catherine says, do you plan on starting any food riots? You know, there's not that many. Actually, there's some food gastronomic faux pas here in Paris and in France in general. I don't know them yet. I gotta find what they are. Let me know what's the gastronomic faux pas of France. I'll be going to countries where there probably isn't any gastronomic faux pas. And I'll be going to some countries that, yeah, probably very easy. Marina says, what are you eating? I'm eating a crepe, a simple crepe, butter and sugar, because I'm extremely full. I ate a 3-course meal nearby. Impossible to live stream because I was literally sitting like a foot spaced out between two couples, and everyone was squished together. That's like the French style of dining. I was lucky to find this place because I don't think a lot of people eat crepes this late at night. So I couldn't live stream that at all. But maybe I'll post a TikTok about it. All right, everyone, feel free to ask me literally anything you would like. I'm opening up the floodgates. B. Chris says, how does French food compare to American food? Do you say English food? Okay, English food. Great question. French food has become synonymous in many parts of the Western world. So you'll find a croissant basically in any coffee shop in London, Scotland, Ireland, America, Canada, Mexico. So there's certain pastries that have become commonplace in the Western world. However, a croissant in Paris is really good. It's not your big batch bakery croissants that you usually get in a New York coffee shop. They can be very good in New York coffee shops, but here they're a whole nother level, truly. When it comes to English food, there's a lot of emphasis on freshness. England has a similar emphasis. US, not so much. US does not put too much emphasis on freshness. So we can have a plate that has ingredients that come from Chile, to meats that come from South Carolina, to apricot that is retrieved from Europe, I don't know, or lemons. they get from the Caribbean, and plantains and mangoes from India. You know, they might have all these ingredients from all around the world. There's a lot of focus on local food here in France. Wendy says, what do you fear most? Fear itself. That's what I fear the most. You know, there's a lot of things to be afraid in this world. It's fear of the unknown. You know, I've been tempted to cover some topics that most people wouldn't cover. But there is information about these topics. There are stories. May they be mythological, or may they be real life first person accounts. There's plenty of information for certain topics. But the more I read into them, I always get a pit in my stomach. And I end up realizing there might be a reason why almost no one covers certain topics. It's just because they're just inherently freaky. It could be completely irrational, or there could be some reason why. So 2 topics are the really strange drugs that are called deliriants that have some ties to the Salem witch trials. And of course, shamanic rituals all around the world. People talk about ayahuasca and people talk about psilocybin, which is shrooms, but there are drugs out there that people don't talk about. And they're very, very terrifying the more you read into them. I'll tell you one. One of them is nightshade. Basically any drug from the nightshade family. Very terrifying drug. And then the other topic is fairies. Yeah, that's... Once I went to Ireland, tried to research fairies. A lot of people don't like talking about them, and B, is just, I don't know, it didn't feel right to talk about that topic. I can't tell you why, I just intuitively felt like it wasn't right. Kay says, Werner sent 100 stars. Thank you so much for 99 stars. I appreciate that. Susie says, if you need a haircut now, I've got clippers. Dawn says, I want some Hennessy. Touche. Can you do a video of the Paris subway? I might. Thank you for the recommendation, Chris. Yeah. I'll definitely do a short video. Stay tuned. I'll do a short video. There's cell phone reception in the Paris metro. So, yeah, I may do a live video, maybe. Can you try souffle while you're in Paris? I don't know if souffles are Parisian or they're French. French souffle. You know, I never heard of a French souffle. Like in America, we eat souffles, but as I research French food, I never hear about souffles. Devil T says ufologists usually stop when they get closer to the truth. That's right, Devil T. That's right. The rabbit hole goes very deep, and then you realize it goes much deeper, and you probably don't want to go further down. Anyone trying to scam you? No, no one has tried to scam me. Though there are scammers, and I've seen them. Someone said just watch out with pickpocketers. I caught one today on camera. Watch the last video I did, live video. Check towards the end when I go to the Arc de Triomphe in Champs-Élysées, and the pickpocket was right there. I don't get scammed. I don't try to get... people don't attempt to scam me too much because I have the pleasure and the opportunity to kind of blend into a lot of these countries. So especially since I'm on my own and I kind of walk already determinedly, like I'm not kind of wandering too much. I'm not like bright eye looking up the buildings with a huge map. Nor do I have a baseball cap and some Nike sneakers and some Docker shorts. So that's why I don't get approached too much by scammers. Jonathan says, I got that New York pace, which blends into Paris, blends into London, blends into Rome, blends into Greece. So I've had the pleasure of blending into a lot of countries. But I assume if I go to a country where I really do look very different from most people, probably would be a different case. Maybe when I go to Japan, I'll get approached by those weird Japanese Christian cult that try to lure in Westerners. There's videos about them. Check them out. Marco says, you just described me. Oh, with the Docker shorts? Yeah. Yeah. Be mindful. Rick Steves is one of the best travel experts from America that covers exclusively Europe. He says, hey, don't take it too personally. The scammer, the pickpocketer, the person trying to snatch something from you. It does feel terrible. It does feel hurtful. But don't try to take it personally, because that person is not personally attacking you. Or at least is not personally targeting you. That's what they do. They're pickpocketers. They see the opportunity, they're going to take it. So rather than take it too personally, just be safe and just be aware. But of course, anything can happen. So when it comes to a wallet, always take a photo of everything in your wallet. Take a photo of your credit cards, take a photo of your ID. And if you have a key to your home, make sure you don't carry it with you because you're in a different country. So leave that key in your backpack or your luggage. Just make sure to have backups of all those documents that you carry with your wallet. And a lot of people would say carry your passport. I don't agree. I would say not carry your passport. Carry your passport, I think, is a recipe for disaster. Unless if you're staying in a place that you don't feel as safe, maybe in a hostel, then maybe. But if not, especially if you're in a Western European country, don't carry around your passport. Because if you do, if someone steals that, that's bad. That's going to be a headache. Someone steals your ID, you can recover from that. Passport, you have to go to the embassy, it's going to be a headache. Don't carry around your passport if you don't have to. In Western Europe, mind you, I haven't traveled too much in Africa, Asian countries, former Soviet Union countries like Balkan bankrupt. Those countries might be different. Those countries you might need your passport. So take that into consideration. But Western Europe, you don't. If a police officer in Western Europe asks for your passport, I don't think that's supposed to be the case. That's only happened to me once in Italy, where I was asked for my passport in Naples at the train station. And the moment I started speaking English, the guy said, no, never mind. Catherine says, I would hide stuff in my bra. And people say hide stuff under your clothes. Yeah, if you want to play extra safe or you want to be a little bit more calmer in crowded places, then there's the wallets that go inside your pants. As our female viewers mentioned, you could do a bra. I'm not sure if bras come with a pocket. Maybe some of them do. There's alternatives. Use a money belt, right, John? Yeah, you can use a money belt. There's many alternatives. Senor Baba says, visit the Love Wall. Ooh, the Love Wall. I haven't heard of that yet. I'll check it. I'll look into it. Kotsi says, Kotsi, nice to see you here. Let me know if you're the same one from Thessaloniki that I met. Thank you so much for tuning in. Kotsi says, sometimes European police officers ask for ID, so carry around with you, but leave your passport. Yeah. Do you have a travel vest? No. Wearing a travel vest will make you stick out like a sore thumb in the middle of a major European city. I would recommend against wearing a travel vest, unless if you're a photographer that has a lot of lenses and filters and polarizers. Otherwise, you don't need it. Use a backpack. And with that said, someone earlier asked about fashion. If you can, and if you want, to blend in, wear the fashion of the country. So if you're American, just be aware that if you're gonna wear your cargo pants and your Crocs, it doesn't mean that there's nothing wrong with them. You know, some fashion-oriented people might say it's the worst fashion. There's nothing inherently wrong with them. But you are going to stick out like a sore thumb in Paris or in England. And that means, unfortunately, pickpocketers are going to see that, or scammers are going to see that and target you. Again, don't take it personally. It's because of what you're wearing. They're just assuming you're a tourist that doesn't know the language and has their wallet in an easy place to steal. So if you want to blend in, then just wear a little bit more of the country. Doesn't mean you have to change your personality, but it does help. And beware when it comes to certain countries, there might be negative associations with certain clothes, like in parts of England and Ireland, wearing the tracksuits might carry around a negative association. So if you are like a American fitness freak, if you're really into fitness, freak is not a good word, but if you're a fitness fanatic and you like wearing your tracksuits, just beware. If you go to parts of England or Ireland, people will negatively associate that with something else. Kay says, I wouldn't be seen dead in a pair of Crocs. You know, Crocs are becoming cool, but in America, not in Europe. If you like your sneakers, the best sneaker I think that blends in Europe is Converse. And then I see a lot of people with New Balance, and I see people wearing the vegan sneaker company with the V. I don't know their name. Susie says, wear a French beret, a striped top, and a few onion sets around your neck, and have a bicycle. Yep. Blending into Paris. Panajota says, Nikes and Adidas. Yeah, let me know. I mean, of course, in Greece, it's more normal to wear shorts and more normal to wear sandals. Not so much here in Paris. Rick Steves wears Echo shoes. Oh, cool. Awesome. Of course, you can wear formal shoes as well. Allbirds. You know, Allbirds, you'll blend in. You'll blend in. I love pizza. And I'm glad you do. Do let me know how to pronounce your name. I know I may have asked a few times. Let me know how to pronounce your name. I don't know how to read the Russian alphabet. How is your French? Comme ci, comme ça. What are pickpocketers looking for, says Adam. As I mentioned, typical American clothing, big fat wallet on your back pocket. It's visible in most pants, most shorts. If you like your shorts, which is necessary, especially in summer months in Europe, or if you're a European traveling to New York, I would recommend, especially if you're a male, get the shorts with the button on the back. Those are really useful because if you have a lot of stuff, you're carrying a lot of stuff, you're carrying your phone, maybe you're carrying a battery pack, or you're carrying some headphones, and you just want to kind of walk around with a few more things. Having that back pocket with a button, perfect. Are we having a aperitif? I already ate my full meal. I'm having a dessert, a second dessert because I already ate dessert. So I'm eating a French crepe. You know, sometimes I just don't give a crepe. I just want to eat a crepe. Have you been to a French cabaret? Not yet. I heard that some cabarets, especially in Montmartre, are a bit of a scam where they overcharge for drinks and food, but like extremely so. Not like a surcharge for going to a concert and eating something or a show, but like a lot. Let me know if that's true or not. Catherine says, if anyone grabbed my purse, they would suffer from back strain. Is it because your purse is so heavy, or is it because you'll whack them immediately when they take it? Rocky says, thieves will use tricks. They'll drop papers, hoping people will pick them up and grab your stuff in packages. Yes. So Rocky makes a great point. Don't be too trusting at all with people in general. You know, a lot of people, unfortunately, especially if you're not a seasoned traveler, especially if you do not grow up in the city, it's understandable that you're going to have a very high faith in people. That's the beautiful thing about America, for example. You grow up in a small town or in a suburban area, you tend to trust a lot of people. You tend to see the best in people. That's good. But trust does not equate being a good person. So trust is a two-way street. You don't need to trust anyone that you see in the streets, especially in the major city. And you don't need to trust, for example, if you see someone drop something, it's okay to be cautious. Because you don't know if someone drops something, their intent is to take your wallet. You might want to be helpful, but be cautious. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means you're a cautious person. You're a smart person. But then again, don't walk around with fear. That's the most important thing in general when traveling. Do not walk around with fear, because fear actually ends up bringing a lot more issues. So just be street smarts. Just take in consideration, you don't need to help anyone. You can if it seems direly necessary. But if it doesn't seem direly necessary, you don't need to help anyone. You don't need to give anyone money, unless if you're paying for a product or a service. You don't need to give anyone money. You don't need to take your wallet at any moment for anyone. Remember that. You don't need to sign someone's petition. You don't need to listen to someone tell you a story. You don't. Someone tries to tell you a sob story, you don't need to stay and listen. You can walk away. And remember that. If you take those things into consideration, you don't need to walk around with fear. You'll be okay in most places around the world. Because generally, the world is a good place. It's just, unfortunately, there are people out there that want to take advantage. Just be street smarts, and you'll meet the good people.
English car? Yes.
So feel free to ask me anything. I'll stick around for about 10 more minutes. B. Chris says, do you get anxious? Yeah, I follow my intuition. So if I get a bad feeling in a place, I won't go. I won't go. It might not make too much sense logically, but I tend to follow my intuition. So if I see a place that just gives me a bad vibe, I wouldn't go. It might seem like the most beautiful place on earth. If it gives me a bad vibe, I'm not going. But equally opposite, if I get a very good vibe, I'll go. I'll check it out. If I see a cool restaurant, I'll go. If I see like a cool area of the city, it might look a little dingy, it might look a little gritty, but if I get a good vibe, I'll go. So intuition helps out a lot. So if I feel the anxiety of a place and I just don't know why, I'm just not gonna bother. I'd rather just take the path of least resistance. So just enjoy life without worrying too much. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up because you didn't go to a party that you saw at the riverside, but you got a bad feeling, didn't want to go in. Don't beat yourself up. Just keep on going. It's okay. Toilet brush salesman says, smile and carry a big gimbal. John, feel free to ask your question again. Have you found any Irish pubs in Paris? I saw 2 thus far. Excuse me. As you can see, there's Irish pubs. There's Irish pubs literally everywhere in the world. I mean, I can't wait to one day explore the very far parts of the world, to me as an American, to like the depths of South America or Africa, and see if there are Irish pubs. Am I drinking tea? No, I'm drinking cider. Cider, there we go. Very good cider. It tastes very fresh. Susie says, this might get political, but do you think Puerto Rico should become a state? Susie, I'll answer this from the heart rather than politically. I grew up partly American, and I really love America, genuinely. And to me, for my culture to be part of a great country like America, I think would be awesome if my country decides to do so. If they don't, that's equally okay. But as an American and Puerto Rican, it would be a great pleasure to have them both together. Are you going to visit Shakespeare and Company? Says John. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I will be covering Notre Dame, and that is right in front of Notre Dame. You're falling behind. I nearly finished my tin cider. I mean, I had a half a liter of cider. Okay. You're the one falling behind. The one I'm having is Loic Raisin. Are we going to have a nice evening stroll? No stroll for tonight. Just chatting. Stay tuned for more videos later. Loic Raisin. Is there a train that goes from Paris to London? Yes, there is a high-speed train that goes there. Direct. Do you ever feel like you're being watched as Marco? Unfortunately, yes. I've had a few viewers that have followed. And as I mentioned, everyone, I know you enjoy the show, but I ask you, please don't follow me anytime. I'm always happy to say hello for a few seconds, but following, no good. I'm not offering a walking tour. So I like to concentrate on my work, and that's what I want to do. But in general, no. Generally, no. I haven't been in a position where I felt like I was being watched aside from that. Luckily, most European countries, especially in Western Europe, Mediterranean, they're pretty chill. You know how I look like. You know how I sound. You know how tall I am. You know my gender. So I generally don't feel like I'm being watched in most Western European countries. Is there a reason why Paris is laid out like a wheel? Urban planning, mostly. One of the main reasons was to easily mobilize the military in case of a revolution, which ironically happened just immediately after Paris was redesigned, but unsuccessfully. Catherine says, yes, 6 feet tall. A very, very tall 5'3". 6 feet. Have you ever felt unsafe while traveling? As I mentioned, I've had small snippets of bad vibes. In Naples, 2 years ago, I went around a corner and I saw some kids on motorcycles. I couldn't explain to you why I shouldn't have gone there, but I just didn't want to. So I turned back around. And later, an Italian told me, someone from Naples said, hey, it's good that you didn't walk down there. That's actually a very shady neighborhood. So I've only had those intuitions. That's it. I luckily have never felt very negative, very nervous in traveling yet. Thankfully. Hopefully not at all. What is your favorite thing about Paris? Says Sarah. Walking around. It's amazing. I mean, Paris is truly a walking city. Wendy, has Ariel sat on blue? Yep, I'm glued to the seat for the rest of the night. Kate says, being followed in London was scary. Yes, indeed. Yeah, so please, if you enjoy my show, happy to say hi for a few seconds, but that's it. Sometimes motorcyclists snatch bags in Naples. There we go. Yeah. When it comes to Europe versus New York is where you'll meet more weird people on the street. I've had the great benefit of now meeting weird people in the street. Kate says, he's 5'3", but attitude is 6 foot. DS, let me see. Oleg says, once a guy came up to me on the bus station and asked me for help to get him a ticket. I went to help him with the ticket office, bought a ticket, but I didn't give it to him and decided to wait for the bus with him. And he admitted of me that he didn't need to go anywhere. He just wanted a return ticket to the box office and make a refund to get a drink. Yeah. Oleg, good that he was honest. Have you seen any wee lassies in Paris? Any wee red-haired Scottish lassies? Asked Gary. You know, I haven't heard Scots at all. I haven't heard the Scottish accent in Paris. I've heard a lot of the British accent, though. The English accent. A lot. There's a lot of English people here. And Americans. Not too much Scottish. I haven't heard Irish either. Not yet. But this is a diverse city, so there's probably people here from all around the world, including Scotland and Ireland. Catherine says, do your ears perk up when you hear a foreign accent in a different country? They do. They do perk up. They perk up when I hear someone who's obviously from New York metropolitan area. So if I hear that New York accent, that Brooklyn accent, that New Jersey accent, I'm like, ooh. But my ears also perk up when I hear the Scottish accent or the Irish accent. I was like, oh, that's an interesting English accent in the middle of a French city. Have you been to the Paris Metro, Adam? Yes, I have been to the Paris Metro. I do recommend it. DS says, can you speak on the fear of failure, your thoughts? You know, failure is it's a doozy. It's quite a big, hefty topic. I think ultimately everything is impermanent in our lives, so it doesn't really matter whether you fail or not. And you can choose to look at that nihilistically, which will tend to bum one out, or worse, depress them. Or you can look at it in a more positive way, saying, it's okay. It's okay. You'll be okay. Everyone will be okay. You may fail. It's okay. That's the point of life, is to have fun, to play, to experiment, to enjoy. And that might mean messing about. That might mean completely failing. That might mean getting in the absolute dumps. But you'll come back out. And that's okay. Ultimately, everything is getting better all the time. DS says, how about the fear of success? Ooh, that's a great question. Fear of success might actually prevent you from getting success. So I would say, be very aware if you have that fear of success. I think everyone does in anything that they're good at, because there are certain aspects of getting success, maybe the more basic, becoming financially stable, financially wealthy. That might bring a whole host of fears. You might fear, culturally speaking, you might fear that you'll become too big-headed, you may become too gassed up. More personal fears of financial wealth is you might fear that you're going to be disconnected from your family, people might take advantage of you. You start fearing these things, and those fears might actually prevent you from enjoying financial wealth or recognition in the field. Recognition in the field might come with more pressure to do better the second time, or the third time, or the fourth time, or the fifth time, to continually do better and better and better. If you win a huge prize, it means that you have to blow people away even better the next time. You have the pressure of becoming the best of the best. So yeah, that's the fear of success. But if you're aware with that and breathe into that, and you don't need to get rid of it. You just have to be aware of it. You have to just breathe into it. Just be okay with it. And I think you can just let it go. For me, even for YouTube and Facebook and TikTok, the fear of success is actually getting too much of an audience. What happens when I have a live video audience of tens of thousands, of hundreds of thousands, or millions, like some game streamers do? The show will change. It will be a lot more pressure. It will be hard to do a video in public. I feel bad for those actors that might want to do a video where they're walking around the streets of Paris, but everyone's out there waving at them. It's a whole lot of pressure. There's a great Facebook creator called Nos Daily who is extremely popular. He has like 20 million followers. And he's so popular that in many countries that he visits, he's trying to do a video, and a lot of people are like waiting to get a selfie with him. And it slows him down. Like, he can't do his video quick enough because a lot of people are, from his perspective, they'll feel like they're being pestering him because you're trying to just make your video. So that's a fear of success that a content creator like myself gets. Trish, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Trish asks, can you see yourself living in Paris? Yeah, I can. Paris is one of the cities I can see myself living in. Paris, Rome, London, probably 3 places I can see myself living in. That bell's aggressive, says Susie. Oh, yeah. All right, everyone, sticking around for a few more minutes. Have you been to Deutschland? No, I've not been to Deutschland. Francesco says ciao. Ciao, Francesco. Trish says this was the only way I could get my question answered. Thank you, Trish. I appreciate the super chat. I do my best to answer any question, but thank you so much for the super chat. Where's the clock at? It's my watch. It has a huge bell function. There's a church nearby. And SVL says, and it'll be hard to control your brand and your business. Those are legitimate fears. Oh yes. Oh yes. I had a dream where I was being canceled and I was consulting with a PR specialist. Luckily, it wasn't a real thing. Ariel, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for the stars. What was the last time you took a family on your trip? Last family trip I took was in 2019, going to Puerto Rico. And then before then, a lot more years before, we went to Paris and London. I was about to take a family trip in 2020 to go to London, but it didn't pan out because of the pandemic. Will you go to Austria, says Irene, maybe. Ron says, what time is it? It is very late. My watch is wrong for some reason, not sure why, but very late. Have you encountered any Puerto Ricans in Paris? You know, that's a great question. I love that. Dario, thank you so much for tuning in, Dario. No, I have not seen any Puerto Ricans in Paris. But there is a movie called Puerto Ricans in Paris. It stars Luis Guzman, who's a great Nuyorican actor. And he starred in many films. He starred in one of my favorite series of all time called How to Make It in America. And he's a really cool guy. My dad met him once and it was really cool. So he has a movie where he co-stars with another guy. And it's two Puerto Ricans coming to Paris to like fight some crime. It's really fun. What do you think about the Orient Express, says Adam? I would love to take it. I think it still runs. I would love to take it. B. Chris says, do you have any siblings? I do. I have a brother. Guadalupe says, you look so happy. Thank you so much, Guadalupe. It is that beautiful French water. Can we see you climb Mont Blanc? Is that in Europe? It's not just a watch company, it's an actual mountain. Wendy, great question. I would love to do a mountain climbing live video, at least once in my life. Looks like a nice evening. No more rain. No, the rain has stopped. Hi, do you use, what do you use for your IRL setup? A DJI Osmo Mobile 4, DJI mic, iPhone 13 Pro Max to the extreme, and that's it. Those are the things I use. Do you ever cook for yourself while traveling? You know, I've tried. It depends on the country. I've been to some places where it's really expensive to eat out, like Helsinki. Helsinki was really expensive. So I ate some lunch in my lodging. Paris ain't that expensive. It's actually cheap to go out and eat. You can spend a lot of money at a restaurant, but it's cheap to go to a cafe, a coffee shop, a trattoria, a boulangerie. Boulangerie sells amazing sandwiches. So yeah, I prefer eating out with most countries. There's some countries where it's a very early culture and everything closes by like 5 p.m., 6 p.m. So then I have no other choice but to buy food to cook at home. And Alex asked, can we schedule another Larry David impression? You know, my Larry David impression is, no, it's pretty good. Pretty good. And what does that sign say behind you? Okay, so everyone, I'm at Cidre Crêperie, Cider Crepes in Le Marais district. It's a beautiful area, highly recommend it. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Catherine says, have you visited Iceland? Super expensive. It's one of the reasons I'm hesitant to go to Iceland. Some places are really, really would stretch my budget. Is your camera sitting on a tripod? It is. It is sitting on a tripod. Great question, Thomas. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Nicole says, will you ever go to the land down under? Yes. Hopefully Australia just opens up. I think it's opening up slowly, but when it's fully open, I'm going. 100%. Aussies are amazing people. I would love to hang out with the Aussies and New Zealand as well. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. This was a Parisian night with cider. I'll show you where I'm at. Right here, Le Marais. Look at that. These were my views. I'll see you Thursdays through Saturdays. 3 p.m. Western European time, 9 a.m. New York City time. That means tomorrow I'll be back at 3 p.m. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Have a great day, everyone. Au revoir, mes amis.